from the station you count on for local news that matters. Your local news at 10.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Austin Heislip.
And I'm Jessica Shear. One person is dead following a multiple vehicle crash near downtown Joplin. Just before 5 this evening, police were called to 6th and Joplin for a serious crash. 4 patients were transported to the local hospitals and 2 of those suffered critical injuries, and one of those patients later died. Police are asking for the public's help in locating a vehicle that fled the scene. That vehicle is described as a black Jeep Cherokee with front end damage. Anyone with information should call the Joplin Police Department. That phone number is on your screen right now. It's 417-623-3131.
A school bus and truck collide, causing a fire and killing 3 people. At 4:20 Wednesday evening, 21-year-old Waylon Collins, 19-year-old Jordan Popsicle, and 21-year-old Austin Thomas, all from Arkansas, were traveling in a pickup truck on Route H. The Missouri State Highway Patrol says the truck failed to stop at the stop sign and crashed into the school bus. Both vehicles traveled off the left side of the roadway, and the bus landed on top of the truck and ignited. The 3 victims had all attended Western Grove High School, a small community in Arkansas.
Fix-It students. I enjoyed working with them as a principal.
Carter says they do have counselors at the school to help the students process their grief. Everyone who was on the school bus was able to escape with only minor injuries. The Neosho School District says 2 students, a bus aide and bus driver, were on board when another vehicle struck the bus. There were some bumps and bruises, but we are grateful to report no injuries for our students and team who were on the bus.
A former Joplin police officer and another Joplin man are arrested and charged for sexual exploitation of children. Former JPD officer 43-year-old Gary McKinney was charged in federal court this week. McKinney was an officer with JPD for about 7 years until May 2006. He's charged with receiving and distributing child pornography over the internet. 31-year-old Anthony Helsel of Joplin is also charged in a separate but related federal criminal complaint filed this week. He's charged with using a minor to produce child pornography. The investigation began back in September 17th, stemming from a cyber tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Facebook reported that Helsel had uploaded a video file of the sexual assault of a 4-year-old victim. Then, in an undercover operation, an investigator with the Kentucky Attorney General's office made contact with Helsel on the Kik messaging application, in which Helsel allegedly sent child pornography to the undercover officer and offered files to the agent as well as others on the app. Law enforcement officers executed a search warrant at Helsel's residence and seized his cell phone. He told officers he had engaged in sexual activity with a 4-year-old child, and he had taken videos and still images of the abuse. Helsel also told officers when they arrived that he was conversing with another user on Kik, who was later identified as McKinney. During a forensic examination of Helsel's cellular phone, messages between McKinney and Helsel were discovered. Helsel sent several files, including child pornography, to McKinney on the Kik app on Tuesday, October 2nd. Then, in a search warrant of McKinney's residence yesterday, investigators located multiple chat conversations on McKinney's cell phone where he talks about children engaging in sexually explicit activity. Numerous files of child pornography allegedly were exchanged between McKinney and other users on an application called Telegram. McKinney remains in federal custody until his detention hearing. That's on October 10th. And Helsel is also in federal custody until his detention hearing on October 9th. Now, the Joplin Police Department released a statement in response to the charges filed against former Officer McKinney. They say, quote, "We take these types of crimes and the safety of children in our community very seriously. We will always ensure that we do the right thing to intervene in these cases, regardless of who the people involved are. This case is no different." End quote.
From your local election headquarters, only a month until Election Day, the candidates for the 2nd District House seat faced off for the very first time in Independence, Kansas last night.
That's right. Democrat Paul Davis and Republican Steve Watkins are virtually tied in the 2nd District congressional race. Hannah Brandt has the story.
Since the primary, this race has been pretty heated, with millions of dollars from both sides being spent on attack ads. But tonight, both men took a seat to talk about issues like health care.
We need to expand Medicaid. And for our veterans, we need to promote veterans' choice programs and help the VA get more active in rural areas.
Let's strip down the unnecessary and burdensome regulations. Let's empower the physicians who know best. And let's provide people with innovative problem-solving solutions.
And topics like education.
It's the Liberals' education solution is to lateral that responsibility off to the bureaucrats. I think the teachers are best empowered to do that.
I believe in local control, though. And sometimes in the area of education, the best thing that the federal government can do is just get out of the way.
The candidates got personal with the audience.
Patriotism is a family value in the Watkins household, and that's one of the reasons why I joined the military as young as I legally could.
I've lived in Kansas since I was 10 days old. My wife and I have made our home here. We're raising our daughter here. People say to me, if you get elected to Congress, are you moving to Washington? Absolutely not.
And both ended with a final plea to voters.
I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and get to work for you in Congress and to change how Washington is behaving so that we can get a Congress that works for us again instead of a Congress that works for the special interest.
The journey has led me to here. It's led me to this race. It's led me to offer what I can. My hard work, my sacrifice, my ear, my best version of myself, and so that we can help lead this Kansas 2nd District into the future.
The candidates are planning on having 2 more debates before Election Day. That's on November 6th.
A local school district adds a new member to the staff to promote safety and security. The city of Galena has partnered with the Galena School District to provide a school resource officer. This agreement allows patrol officer Chris Corbett to dedicate his workday between schools. As a goal of the police chief, the officer will be promoting security and safety classes within schools.
The officer just not only interacts with the kids as a role model, but he also has a chance to provide classes in you know, as far as drugs or social media.